Good evening, Facebook Live. Welcome to Let's Talk About Ice. And this is another segment of this awesome show that we do every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Queensland time, in order to educate and raise awareness about the dangers of ice in our community. It's all in the name of education, guys. And the more that we share and talk about this, the more understanding everybody will have. And also, not just understanding about what we do, but understanding on what happens to somebody that may be entrapped in addiction, but also where there's help. You know, where is the help that's available out there? How do you tap into that? You know, and tonight we are really, really blessed to have an amazing human being and a brother here with us tonight, David Nahi from the Victory House, which is part of Victory Centre, correctly? Yeah.
Vibe Care.
Vibe Care, that's it. And he'll be sharing a little bit about rehabs and about the good work that they do in recovery houses. Now, I don't know about you out there, but I certainly had stigma when I was coming out of addiction. I did call a couple of rehabs, and they said, you know, you won't be able to have your phone, and no, you can't really go out. And I'm like, I'm not going into prison. And I was scared, you know, and knowing what I know today, David, I wish I had gone down that path, because there's people who've been through what I was going through, and they have tools that can help me instead of trying to do it on your own. You know, it's so difficult on your own. So I'm so excited to have this conversation with you tonight, and to be able to shed some light on that for everybody out there who may be contemplating change, or, you know, maybe like contemplating going into rehab and having some help, but you might be a bit afraid of that. Before we go on, and I actually introduced David on the show, a couple of what do you call that? Cleaning the house or something?
Housekeeping.
Housekeeping, that's the one, housekeeping. I don't like to do it, we don't. But I've got a couple of things that I need to share with you. This is the exciting one. Are you ready? Okay, I'm going to introduce you to our new product line. David, how about you can wear the flat one?
Yep.
Take that out. Here we go. We've got our new brand, guys. It is coming out. I wasn't going to share this with you tonight because we just haven't completed the range, but woohoo, look at that. Cool, bro. Brother from another mother, but the same father. Yo, yo. And look underneath that. Look, pop your head up for me, David. Look, it's got Neo in there. NEO, which is our new brand, and it's really cool. Look at the back. This one here's got Neo, and that one's got No to Ice, not even once. So this is our new brand, guys, and you can pre-order. Okay, we're selling them for $25. Get your orders in before Christmas, because I'm sure that there's lots of young people, and this is for older people like me, because it's got a rounded thing apparently, and that one's got the flat one, so it's for young and old.
Young people like me.
Like young people like you, that's it, in the house. I think it can go backwards too, David. Like, yeah. That's the way that they wear them. Look how cool that looks. You know, that's really awesome. It's nice material too. So you can place your orders before Christmas, yeah? And we are taking pre-orders. It takes a couple of weeks for them to come in. $25. You'll be able to order that on our shop shortly. So it's not quite up there yet. But please keep in mind, share the message, no ice, no to ice, NEO, and NEO at the back. So it's right across the cap here. If you see, it's really cool. So get your orders in. All the proceeds go towards helping us educate more youth on the dangers of ice, yeah? And that is important. Just today, guys, I just want to share this because it, you know, I don't think you realise how important what we do is out there. We've had a couple of people call in today, and young people are dying. They're literally dying out there. You know, 25-year-old young people, you know, taking their lives because of this drug, you know, and we want to get to them before they actually touch it, you know. So that's why we do what we do, and you know, we've created a brand where we'll be bringing out t-shirts and water bottles and gym wear. So please keep your eye out on our shop, and all the proceeds go back to help us educate youth on the dangers of ice and other drugs. Yeah, we've also got our mug, and there's our mug. And it's on the back, it's got No to Ice, not even once, and the web page on there, and it's a black trendy mug. Oh, coffee time. So you can also keep an eye out on our website, and that website is www.australianantiicecampaign.org.au, and we have a shop there, and you can purchase these products on our shop. But we will be putting them in selected stores. So the gym wear will be going into some gyms. We're in conversation about that, but we'll let you know exactly where you can get your merchandise and support the cause at the same time and help out Christmas. Yeah. So don't forget, on the shop we've got Highway Destruction. Yep. Don't forget you can purchase that as well as part of your Christmas stocking present. They're $15, and if you put it all together, there's discounts on delivery. So. Okay, the other, what is it, cleaning the house? Housekeeping. That's the housekeeping. Oh my goodness. Thank you very much, David. I'm going to go on to this first. If you're out there and you're going, okay, I want to get involved, I want to help this cause, but I work during the week and, I don't really have the finances available. Here's another way that you can help. Okay, we're going to be doing fundraising barbecues on weekends, on Saturdays. At different locations. So if you think that you can help, put sauce on a sausage, or give somebody a serviette, or hand them a bottle of water, and collect some money and help the cause. Here's your chance to do it. Okay, on a Saturday you can donate some of your time, and come along and help us feed some people and raise some funds to help us educate the next generation on the dangers of ice. Hey, so there's another way that you can help.
Yeah.
We are also in the planning stages of a fight night. Now, that's still up ahead, early next year, March, looks like March, but please watch this space because there is some exciting stuff going on. We're talking to some celebrities that are coming on board. We're talking to the AFL, the NRL, we're talking to Jeff Horn, Brad Vicali's coming on board. It's going to be an exciting event, and you don't want to miss out. Honestly, it's going to be a really. It's not about fighting in the ring. However, it is a sport, and we do need to be aware of that. But it's about the fight against ice. Okay, families are fighting for their kids. And we're fighting for the next generation, and people are fighting for their loved ones that are in addiction, and it is a real fight for life or death. So it is the fight against ice, and it is a fight night coming up in March. So if you want to be involved or you have something to contribute to that, we are looking for some celebrity singers. So Jimmy Barnes, if you're out there, I know we've spoken before, or anybody can get in contact with some celebrity singers to help the evening be a huge success. Now's the time to get in touch with me, please. And Sparkle with Suzette happening in South Australia fundraiser on November the 10th and 11th. So if you're in South Australia, Adelaide, please go onto our events page and you'll be able to participate in Sparkle with Suzette and help raise funds and awareness about the dangers of ice in South Australia. So there's a lot of things happening there. The Adelaide presenters came up and did some training with me. They got to spend a week with me. Too much love to them all. They're amazing contribution to Adelaide. These incredible people have overcome and come through recovery and are standing strong in their recovery, and they now want to give back to their community. So please support them. Okay, we often put them up on our page and they'll do blogs and videos. Encourage them, support them. They are incredibly passionate about raising awareness and educating the next generation. Nobody wants people to go down that hell that we have experienced, and we're blessed to be given another opportunity in life to be alive and to be able to give back. So please show them your love when they do come online. That's it, I think, for today. If anything else comes up, I will let you know, but Leanne gave me the list of things to cover, and I've done that. So tonight, without further ado, I'd like you to welcome on the show David Nahi. Thank you so much, David, for being on the show.
Glad to be here.
Thank you. And I know, we're having a three-way conversation, but this Facebook post does reach a lot of people out there, and I think it's so important that they really understand about recovery, and we'd like to get to know you a little bit better too, because you do some amazing work in the community, and I feel blessed that you're here with us tonight. So before we go on, guys, can you please share this video on your Facebook page, because you don't know who needs to hear this tonight. You don't know who needs help and they're suffering quietly and they're maybe contemplating, I need to reach out somewhere. Now's the time to do it, By sharing this post on your Facebook and asking your friends to share it, it reaches a wider community and people can really have a listen to this, and if they're entrapped in addiction, they'll be able to reach out and we can help connect them into a recovery program. So now's the time to press share. Yep, thank you so much, and we'll continue. David, so tell us a little bit about you, like where have you come from, and I know a little bit about your story, so if it's okay with you, if you could
sure.
share a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So I'm originally from New Zealand.
Yep.
I was brought up with 5 siblings, and we were brought up in quite a rough neighbourhood, commission housing, and we were exposed to, as youngsters, a lot of dysfunctionality, a lot of crime, a lot of drugs, alcoholism, sexual immorality, all that kind of stuff. And so, although I hated that as a youngster, thought I'd never do that. It has a way of working itself out as you get older. And so, before I knew it, the very things that I hated as a kid, I was doing as a young adult. Yeah. So, and that sort of stuff eventually leads to crime, violence, and just a dark life. And so got caught up in a lot of that, and in the end, I was looking through the newspaper trying to find a way out of my situation, and I came across a job that was knocking on doors selling encyclopedias and doing some travel. So I jumped onto that because I couldn't pay my rent, and the landlord was after me, plus the law, and the opportunity actually gave me an opportunity to come to Australia. Cool. So I thought, great, I can start fresh.
Yes.
Thing is doesn't matter where you go, your problems go with you. Your habits and things go with you. So I was in Sydney. My brother was playing football here on the Gold Coast back in the day for an NRL team. It was the Gold Coast Chargers at the time, and he called me up and said, "Dave, come up here and play football. Even in reserve grade, they pay you in Australia.
Yeah.
So in New Zealand, we pay to play football.
Wow.
Over here, we get paid."
Yeah.
And so I came to the Gold Coast to play football. Kept living the same lifestyle, and eventually, that caught up with me as well. Yeah. And so I found myself in trouble. Found myself in, going to court often for things like, just drugs, alcohol, a lot of different crimes that we used to commit. And when I look back now, what I can see is the mentality that I had was a mentality of trying to find shortcuts in life. Yes. I wasn't prepared, or I didn't know how to stick at something for a long period of time and to do the hard work that is required to get to where I needed to go. And so I was a person sort of always looking for shortcuts in life and looking for a quick fix, whatever that was. And so really where my life turned around is when I met my wife today. So I met my wife and we began a journey together. She thought I was awesome. She thought I was awesome until about a year later she realized this guy is full of stories and broken promises. And so she'd decided she'd had enough, and she was packing her bags to leave. So I got good at convincing her I was going to change. And so after a couple of years and two small children, she decided enough's enough. And it wasn't until she left me that I realized, you don't appreciate what you've got until you don't have it. Yeah. And so she left me, and some friends that I was playing football with, a friend of mine, a Samoan friend, he invited me to a church breakfast. And so I had a hunch it was a church thing, and I thought, that's not really for me. I'm not too interested. I'll let them know that I don't want to go. But then I had a change of thought. I thought, you know what? I'll go, I'll get a free feed, I'll ignore the Christian stuff, and I'll be out of there. Yeah. That was my plan. But he had a different plan. Yeah. And so by the end of that breakfast, I was bawling my eyes out and saying, if there is a God, I want to know what this plan and purpose is for my life. And so that's when my journey with the Lord actually began.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went on, God was amazing. He restored our marriage. He blessed us with 2 more kids.
Mm-hmm.
And we went on a journey of, I guess, God blessed us with a business. We did some traveling. We made some good investments. I'd like to take all the credit, but my wife is a very switched on lady.
Yeah.
And so she taught me, Dave, just work hard, put your head down, and in the end, you know, it'll pay off. So we made some good investments. And we went on a journey around the country, and along that journey, we looked after youth groups. Just youth seemed to be attracted to us. So we looked after youth.
Well, you were the young one wearing the
Well, that's
cap.
right. Yeah, that's right. So after 12 years of serving in youth ministry,
Yep.
we decided to come back to the Gold Coast because my wife's father was dying of cancer, and so he was close to death. And so we thought we'll come back, spend some time with him, and maybe look to do another business here on the Gold Coast.
Mm-hmm.
While we were at his house having a Bible study, we asked him if we could pray for him. He was an atheist at the time, so we laid hands on him and prayed for him. And within 2 months, long story short, the cancer totally disappeared.
Wow.
And so all of a sudden, this little Bible study group grew up to about 50 people.
Wow.
And they asked if we could do it on a weekend instead of a midweek because it was getting hard to wake up for work.
Yes.
And so after a little while of that, my wife tapped me on the shoulder one day and said, Dave, do you realise that this is church? This is the church. And I said,
Wow.
well, that was not my plan. It was just to get a free feed at breakfast, and now look what's happening.
Yeah.
And so one thing's led to another, doors have opened, and today we pastor a church. We're doing it for 8 years in Tweed Heads.
Yep.
And
And it's called?
it's called Vibe Church.
Vibe. Awesome.
Yeah. And so, but before we went into that church, we began with prayer. You know, Lord, we don't want to just go and be a church for the sake of being another church.
Yeah.
What's our call and what's the purpose that you have for us as a church? And we really felt the Lord say it's to get outside the walls and to reach the community, as Jesus did. You
That's
know,
right.
He went out there and he hung out with the sinners, and he wasn't afraid to go where the sick were or where the outcasts were. And so that was the attitude that we had as a church. And so we went out. We began the church, and we've seen miracle after miracle after miracle. And I could sit here all night talking about just God's amazing miracles. And so we prayed what he wanted us to do, and he said, feed the poor. So we thought, okay, well, we're going to need food. So we heard there was a food bank up in Brisbane, and we began transporting food from a food bank in Brisbane to the Tweed. And we needed a better means of transporting it because we could see the need was huge.
Yeah.
We didn't know how that was going to happen. Anyway, a lady in our church said, hey, my husband is a part of a committee, and they have funds that they need to, you know, give out into the community as a part of their policies and procedures. And so she said, maybe he could come and give you some money for pizzas for the youth group. I said, oh, that'll be great. So anyway, he came down, he saw the food ministry and our food outlet. He was inspired by it, and he came in and said, hey, I've come here to give you money for pizzas. He says, but what else do you need? He goes, I love what you do out there. So I thought, you know, my God's a big God. I'll go right to the top of the list. And I said, we need a brand new truck. He said, well, how much are you looking? 70, 80,000? I said, yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah.
In my mind, I thought 30,000 would be amazing.
Yeah.
And so he said, Dave, there's only one catch. We're going to meet in 2 weeks' time. I need you to get 2 quotes, and we'll let you know if we can help you with this. Anyway, within 2 weeks, during our prayer meeting, we got a text, and it said, your God has answered your prayers. And they gave us a check for $106,000.
Wow.
And we got a brand new truck, sign written, hydraulics, a fridge. And so now we transport food from Brisbane 3 or 4 times a week.
Awesome.
And we have opened up 2 outlets, one in Palm Beach, one in Tweed Heads. and we serve up to 500 families a week.
That's amazing.
About 2,000 people.
That is amazing.
Yeah, God's good.
So absolutely. So from that, and I know that you guys do feed a lot of people in need. You've been able to see the devastation that drugs have left behind in our community, and people that are homeless due to drugs, and hungry, and that really need the support. So is that how Victory House began, from seeing the need there?
Absolutely. It was another need that God really alerted to us. So it's one thing to give people a fish, but it's another to teach them how to fish. And so we wanted to. So we just prayed, Lord, what else do you want us to do? And He made it clear that that people in addiction. There are a lot of people in addiction, which is causing a lot of homelessness, a lot of dysfunctionalities in the community. Something I could relate to straight away.
Yeah.
So that was something though that we weren't quick to jump into, because there's a lot of planning that has to be put in place. Also, we don't want to start something and then quit on it. So if we start something, we want to do this thing all the way through. So we really planned out. It took us a couple of years to do that. We started with a model. And then we've also sort of moved into our own model, which we find really suits the flavour and the culture of Vibe Church. And so we've been doing that now for about 5 years.
Wow.
And we started with one house in Tweed Heads, and it's growing.
Yeah. So you have a couple of houses going now, and I know you do some amazing work with the guys in there. And it is the men's rehab, correct?
Yeah. So it's a men's. Yeah.
And what's the age group of the rehab?
Well, right now we've got guys from their early 20s, but so from 18. But our guys are at the moment from their early 20s through to right up to their 50s.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And David, I don't know, but like I said earlier, I thought the thought of rehab when I first called one, it scared me, and I ended up bringing up the sales who had a boat that was going across to the Stradbroke Island, and he said, the ad said, if you're broken and you need support and you've been in addiction, call us and come out on the boat. And I'm thinking, that's me, I can go out on the boat, but I don't know about this going into rehab thing, because it sounded like I was going to get put away. It sounded like a jail,
Yeah.
Today I know very different, but I don't know, but I'm thinking maybe you can explain to people at home what that looks like, what stepping into rehab looks like, what's some of the, paint a picture of what the daily things are, and what they're going to get from it, and how awesome it is, because I can see the outcome, and I see it every day, seeing the guys that you work with. But these guys not sure.
I can understand how people could be intimidated or scared by a rehabilitation program. I don't know a lot about other programs, but I do know a lot about our program.
Awesome.
And the way that we operate is we believe that there is two parts to recovery. One part is love and acceptance and belonging, and the other part is hard work. Simple as that. And if you can balance the two together well, you've got a good recipe for success. So our first approach to it all is number one, that and it's all based really on the Bible. And in the respect that God loves everyone. And so our attitude is that we are also a program that has wide open doors, and we welcome everyone into our program. There are a couple of boundaries that we do follow in that respect, mainly for the health and safety of the guys that are already in the program. But apart from that, it doesn't matter what you've come from or what background you've come from. We believe that everyone can change. And if God's done it to me, and you, He can do it to anyone. So that's our approach, and we just want people to know that they are acceptable, that they are worthy, and that there is a place in our program.
And they're worth it.
Oh, absolutely.
They are worth it, you
Yep.
know. They're so worth it. They're
Yep.
so loved, and
Yep.
most of the people, like I was, you're so broken that you don't recognise,
Yeah.
you know, how much you're loved.
Yeah.
You know, and that's so important.
Yeah, I think once you realise that you are worthy of love and acceptance, and that you truly do belong to like a family, then it makes it easier to start to pick up the tools that you need
Yeah.
to be able to change your life. Yeah, and so that's what we do as a program as well. We provide our guys with tools
Yes.
to help them to ultimately grow their character.
Mhm.
And when your character is strong, it'll take you places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would somebody do, like if they're watching and they're like, okay, I'm still not grasping what I need to do in there. Like, what would they do? What would be the first thing they would do? Call a number,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
have a conversation?
So we try and make that process as simple as possible. So it really is just a phone call to our line, and the guys will basically take anyone who calls through what we call a phone assessment.
Yep.
And that phone assessment is just asking the basics and making it clear what we're about as well.
Yes.
And if everything's okay with that, we will then issue out a letter of acceptance,
Mhm.
which a lot of our guys will use for, especially if they've got to go to court or if they're even in prison. Our letters can help guys present something to the courts to say, hey, here's a pathway that I can take that's better than me sitting in the cell.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so, and what we've found is that the courts really do want to help people get on with, changing their lives and getting well. And so that's quite encouraging to see that the courts are for recovery.
Yes.
Yeah. And so we give them a letter, and then we organise a date. Our people will come in, and we'll take them through what we call assessment. So we do a 2-week assessment. We think it's only fair that people get an opportunity to assess our program,
Mhm.
and vice versa, we assess the individual. And what we're assessing is if they're actually serious about wanting to change,
Yep.
serious about wanting to leave the old behind and to come into a new life,
Good.
And so once we're in a mutual agreement after 2 weeks, then they enter into the first stage of our program.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And how many stages are there, David, in
Yeah.
the program?
So our program is a 12-month program.
Yep.
There's 4 stages.
Mhm.
The first stage is really just getting your head around what recovery is all about.
Yeah.
It's different. It's
Mm.
different. It's different to the way you were used to do things.
Mm.
So we give people 3 months to really understand why they're in recovery, and to learn how to use the tools that we
Yes.
provide.
That's
So
awesome.
we provide a whole bunch of tools
Mm.
that I can chat about in it if you like. But these tools will help them to progress forward.
That's awesome.
And then once they've learned those tools, we then go into stage 2.
Mhm.
And stage 2 is where our guys really enjoy showing the new guys
Mhm.
how to use the tools.
Okay.
So stage 1, it's learning how to use the tools.
Yep.
Stage 2, it's an opportunity to teach others how to. And we find that the guys in stage 2 of our program really love helping other guys.
Yes.
They seem to, people who have come out of addiction really seem to have a heart for those that are still in
Yeah.
addiction, as you would know. So the guys will do that for a period of time. And then once they've done that, at the 6-month mark, at the end of stage 2, that's where I myself engage our guys in the program at stage 3. So stage 3 is about looking forward, getting your dreams back again, and believing that you can pretty much do anything with your life. It's amazing how drugs and addiction and abuse can really put a cloud over you and make you think that you can't do a lot with your life. Once that cloud's gone, it's my favourite part of the program. I get to sit with people and start to get them to dream again. I recently sat with a guy who said, Pastor Dave, I've been in prison for so long that I gave up thinking that I could do anything further than, the next day. He goes, that was my coping mechanism, not to look forward anymore. And he says, when you ask me to start dreaming and looking forward, he says, I find that really hard because I've always been let down in thinking I could look forward. And so to see people break free from that, this particular guy, so he's in stage 3. His name's Josh, and he's looking forward. He's decided he wants to get a diploma in case management, and he said through that course he could maybe one day become a parole officer.
Wow.
So we have a good laugh at the program, because I say to all the other boys, you better watch out. You don't want Josh to be your parole officer one day.
Good on you, Josh. Go for it.
Yeah. And so we do that at stage 3. We help them, see the future and to dream and to start to explore ideas and to look at different goals. And I always say to the guys, look, you don't have to stay with these goals. You may change your mind along the way, but don't be afraid to dream again. Don't be afraid to have a go and start moving forward. And when they do that, what happens there is without realizing it, actually they become like a leader. Because now they are moving forward, and the other guys look at that and start to follow them.
Yes.
And so you become a leader. A leader is not a title, that's the wrong perception. A leader is someone who is actually moving forward and inspiring other people to follow them. So that's what we're finding at stage 3 in our program.
That's awesome.
And then the last stage, stage 4, is where we get to a point where they've set their goals in stage 3, they've decided along the way what they'd like to have a go at, and we work it so that in stage 4 they're actually living those goals. So for example, if someone says I want to go to university, they are actually doing maybe a bridging course to go into university, or they're actually in university and are doing that whilst they're in the program.
That's awesome.
So our way of thinking is that getting through a program is not about getting a certificate and ticking off some boxes and trying to please everyone. You will get your respect back from your family. You will regain trust from your family again. Those are great bonuses. But really what it's about is actually stepping into living the new life that you want. And we want to try and do that whilst you're with us, whilst there's accountability, and whilst they're still in a very healthy community of people to keep them safe. And so in stage 4, we've got guys that are some guys like it simple. They like to work with the council. So council have provided pathways for our guys to get jobs with the council.
Awesome.
And so we also have guys. One guy has decided he wants to go to university to be a biomedical science person.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
When he said that, and at first he thought he wanted to go back to plastering. Then he came to me and said, Pastor Dave, it's always been in my heart as a little kid to do something like this. And he told me, and I said, mate, I can't even pronounce that, let alone get it. But I said,
awesome.
It just got me so excited to see these guys that were once not able to look past next week to now looking at getting a degree in university. So that's really exciting,
That's awesome. And we've spoken about AARC being a pathway too for people who want to get into educating other people about the dangers of ice and drugs. So we do provide training around that, and you can get your certificate in AOD with us as well. So that's something that's out there and available for giving back, and another pathway for people to step into. And there is so many there's so much hope.
And that's the good thing about, I guess, some programs is that if we're not afraid to network with one another and to, see, it's not about us, it's about these guys, and it's about helping them to have as many opportunities as possible, but with people who are able to provide, successful pathways for these guys, and so the way I see it is if an individual is prepared to do the hard work, prepared and is sick of living the old way, you can do a lot with that person.
You can change. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And in a nurturing environment like Victory House, where the tools are there, the love is there, and the people that have been through it already before you are there to help show you the way. And that's what we talk out there about our buddy system, guys. That people have come out of recovery, out of addiction, like myself and like all of our presenters, where our heart is to really help somebody else. And we've been there, we've done it, so we can guide you and go, hey, you know, consider this rehab, do this detox, maybe some numbers, and we walk with you. And we have, you know, I have a few buddies on the go at the moment, and it's just beautiful to see them progressing and taking charge of their life again and leaving their old life behind, you know. And
yeah, absolutely. I think a big key in recovery as well is removing yourself from the old crowd and you know, getting amongst a new crowd. I call it, you know, flying with the eagles. And when you fly with the eagles, the view is different.
Yes.
You know, your stance in life is different. You don't run away from the storms like chicken and turkeys do. You know, they run for the coop, but eagles fly into them. And that's the different mantle that you take on. You know, you embrace the challenges of life, and you know, and you have the tools to be able to do that. But community is really important, and so you know, we've got guys in the program. Obviously, they come to church on Sunday, and you don't have to be a believer. You don't have to believe in God to do our program.
That's awesome.
We're fine with that. You know, that's cool, because it's a journey, you know, and you're on your own journey. So we respect that. But as guys do have their spiritual eyes opened, and as guys do start to realise that there is more to life than just the flesh, that there is a spirit, and when their spiritual eyes are open, it's so cool watching guys integrating and helping out around the different areas of the church. We've got one guy who's currently on our worship team. He's an amazing guitarist, amazing singer. And you know, when I see him up there strumming his guitar and just worshiping the Lord, it just brings tears to my eyes, you know. It's amazing.
That's awesome. There's so much in so many people, you know, and it gets, with drugs, it does, you know, close everything down and make life impossible. Guys, you know, recovery really is, we do need to look at recovery in a holistic approach. We are spirit, soul and body, and unless we treat recovery as a whole in that fashion, we're not going to get true recovery. You know, you might come out of a rehab and not really treat the spiritual aspect. You know, the likelihood that you're going to relapse it's really high. We do need a 3-part recovery. It is a holistic approach that you get the most success out of that, and coming into a loving family that, you know, as David has explained, that can, you know, love you and help you integrate who you are and the amazing human being that you were created to be, and the future that God has planned for you is so important to have that support there.
Absolutely.
You know,
speaking words of life over you as well, encouragement. Speaking to your potential, you know, not to your lack, not to your faults. And you know, a lot of us have been through you know, that kind of life where people have said, you know, you're no good, you can never amount to anything. And if you're around that long enough, well, you know, it's going to hold you down.
Yes. Well, you start to believe it, don't you? Especially in addiction. In Ice World, you know, you just got this, you know, I'm a horrible human being, and you know, you don't want to be near me kind of feeling. But that's not the fact. And I often say to our guys, you know, when we buddy up with people and they come to us, oh, I'm sick of being in this cycle of addiction, I don't want this life anymore, help me. We definitely can do that, because we've walked that walk, and we can hold your hand to point you in the right direction. But you are not your addiction. That is what's happened to you. That's not who you are. And I often say that to them, you know, that's what happened. That's not who you are. So let's look at who God says you are, and let's look at who you want to be. That doesn't matter. It's okay, it's done. You can't change that. It's now gone. That was yesterday. Who are you today? And let's move forward from that, you know, and you find incredible things happen in that space, you know, David. So tell us a little bit about, David, if you could, like, what's it costing for this program? You know, do people have to pay? Can people on Centrelink go on? Like, I know that a lot of people in addiction are out on the street, they're homeless, they don't really have, you know, money sitting around. What does this look like?
Most of the guys that are in our program are on Centrelink payment. So $480 a fortnight, that's at $240 a week, and that covers your food, your uniform, your your essentials, your transportation. It just covers everything.
Wow.
Covers everything. But so it leaves the guys with a few dollars left over to grab themselves some cigarettes or you know, just some personal items.
Yep.
And if
That's
the guys are
fantastic.
diligent, they can still have a bit for themselves. Another feature of our program is our guys are right into, well, they figure, hey, look, if I'm going to be here for 12 months, I might as well maximise my time here. And so a lot of our guys go to the gym.
Awesome.
And we've got, so a lot of the community get behind what we do, and they provide our guys with, you know, affordable gym rates to get into the gym. So again, it's really cool watching guys coming in who are, you know, they've got bad posture, and half the posture is because of being, you know, feeling ashamed and guilty. But as that shame and guilt comes off, chest comes out, out comes the dumbbells, and all of a sudden the guys are walking around like this. And
That's awesome.
it's pretty cool. So they go from goats to lions.
Wow.
I said, you guys are awesome in this church because you're a bunch of lions. I said, and guess what that does? It attracts lionesses into the house.
That's it. And we do encourage, when you're in the early stages of recovery, relationships go over there. You got to work on your relationship with yourself first before you got to love yourself before you can love anybody else.
That's it.
That's awesome, because you know we're in our different groups, state groups. We do have some people in early recovery that have come out of rehab or doing the tripod system of support. That some of the local gyms have helped with membership and training people. I know Melbourne, that's happening. That's happened here as well on the Gold Coast. So if you are a gym owner or a manager and you want to contribute, you know, giving away a couple of gym memberships to people in early recovery to encourage them on their path of recovery, that is a real option. And if there's a way that you can give back, you know, it doesn't cost you a lot, please get in contact with us if you want to help Victory House or AAIC. We'll be really, really awesomely excited about passing that on to one of our people in early recovery, because it is important. We're a 3-part being, 3-part recovery. And I remember, like, David, not being able to even lift my head off the pillow because my body was hurting so much, you know. I had eaten away at my muscles, and I was exhausted. But what I found was that I had a gym where I was living, and I just pushed myself through that. And even though it hurt, I said, I've got to get back, you know, got to get my physical part of me back, you know, get some stamina. And I know that by exercising, you actually get more energy. So I kind of put my head into that. So it really helped, not only my physical being, but my emotional state, because as we know, we get released endorphins and, you know, happy feeling when we're exercising. So it's a really important part of recovery. So if you're a gym out there and you want to give back, guys, now here's an opportunity to do that. So
it's awesome.
So that's amazing. Is there like an entry fee for them to come into the house?
No entry fee. You know, we're all about, I know this might sound a bit cliche, but we're about people. You know, we're not about dollars. So we've tried our best to make it as affordable as possible. We really do literally run at a break-even level when you consider all the different costs that are involved.
Yeah, it's expensive, I know. There's so many things that you have to provide in the house, and it is quite expensive. So I'm like, wow, that's really, really, really affordable. For if you're out there and you're contemplating change, guys, now's the opportunity to reach out. I think you guys have a house that you just opened, that there's some still room available for people to come into?
We've just been blessed with another big house.
Awesome.
And we've got the support of, you know, our local mayor. He loves the work that we do, Tom Tate. He's a big supporter of the work that we do here on the Gold Coast. In fact, he's coming to our church this Sunday to share his testimony of how he's come to faith.
Awesome.
And through that relationship that we have with him, he's seen the work that we do, and he's, in his own way, helped open doors where we've been able to, you know, provide the service the best we can for people.
Fantastic.
So it's amazing how when you just seek to do things to help people, the doors open.
Yes.
You know. And so it's about people. So we keep the costs down. So there's no fee to come into the program. Just pay your 2 weeks in advance, and you're ready to go.
That's amazing. Guys, I'll tell you what, if I was a guy and ready to step into rehab, I'd be doing this. this is an opportunity really you don't want to miss. So if you are in addiction, and I'm speaking to you out there right down the barrel, and you're contemplating change, really at the end of the day, going down, continuing this lifestyle that you're going down is going to lead to three things. You're going to end up either in prison with serious mental health issues or dead. Yeah, like I said earlier on, David, today alone I received 2 calls of people in addiction who lost their life. We don't want that to be you. Yeah, now's the time to reach out. You can, reach out on Facebook, or you can call us in the office, and we will help connect you with David and the Victory House, and to create a pathway for you to start your recovery process. And because you're worth it, and it is possible. We've done it, and if we can do it, you can do it. It's just following the same pathway. So if I'm talking to you, please don't contemplate. Message us, send us a message. Yeah. We don't have a girls' house yet.
No, we would like to do a women's house, so we're working our way to that point. There is a few other dynamics that come with a women's house, children, and
Yes.
usually domestic violence is somewhere close behind as well.
Yes.
So we've got to make sure, again, that when we start something, we want to do it well, we want to do it
That's awesome.
properly. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we will do that, and even a place for juvenile, for young teenagers as well. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the work that you guys are doing.
Thank you.
And we're very, very blessed to have you on the Gold Coast, with such a holistic approach to recovery.
Yeah.
And I love your hearts, because it is about the people.
Yeah.
And it's not about us. It's not, we don't get involved in, going through the storms to get something happening to help people for money or for any other reason, but for God's work, and it's beautiful to see them come out of the dark and
Yep.
into the light, be everything that they were created to be.
That's right. I don't think you can put a price on watching someone's life change.
Yeah.
I think it's the most rewarding, fulfilling thing, and this is why I think a lot of the guys who come through our program, when we start talking goals, one of the priority things for our guys is giving back to other people and showing other people that if they can get there, then others can get there as well.
That's right.
And I think they're the best coach or buddy along your journey is someone who has been where you've come from.
That's right.
And so that's the beauty of the program we have, is that it's the guys that are in the program keeping you accountable and helping you to take those steps and keeping you encouraged along the way. It's awesome. Not to mention, we've got an awesome church, and the people just embrace all the guys in our program like family and just speak life over them, and it's amazing. Yeah.
And I often talk about my recovery, David, because I got scared to go into a rehab, but I did. God did take me into a church, and it was a community of people that loved me back to life unconditionally.
Yeah.
And that's what we talk about, a tripod system of support. And people go, oh, I can't get them into rehab right now. Okay, let's put you on a tripod system of support. Now what that looks like is, one, you're going to get a buddy, okay, somebody that's been through it before you, somebody that's going to sponsor you, give you a call, love you, yeah. So it's okay, let's go for a walk on the beach today. No, I want to die. No, you're not going to die today. Today we're going to go walk on the beach, right? And I've been there, I remember that, and let's do that instead. And you get through another day, yeah. So the second step is to get a drug and alcohol counsellor and start working on the underlying issues, yeah. And we have a list of drug and alcohol counsellors that are do have Medicare rebate, so they can work with you even if you are on Centrelink, or if you're homeless, you still have access to that. The third thing is to, so it was a buddy, your drug and alcohol counsellor, and it is a group therapy, whether it's NA, CMA, or a church that will love you unconditionally and love you back to life. It is so critical to be connected, with your community. And plus, I say to our guys, you know what happens? Like, oh, Tom needs food. He hasn't got any food. Oh, that's okay. Somebody in the church has food, and they'll bring it around. What? Oh, I need a bed. Oh, yes. We've got a bed, he's got a bed over there, and it's about helping each other. It's a community of love where we're put together to help each other in this thing called life. So, it's not about religion, and it's not about stigma. Let's put that aside for a moment and talk about, us being able to connect and help each other, yeah?
Andrew, if I could say, also within our program, we do have professional psychologists, counsellors, doctors that work closely with our guys. And it's great because there's a actual personal relationship with these professionals who also have a real heart for the guys as well. So we've got the professional side of things there. The other thing I was going to say is, I can't remember, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, it'll come back.
Yeah.
So you got the relationship between the doctors and the psychologists, the counsellors that come in,
Yep.
and work one-on-one, is it? Do they work one-on-one with people?
Yeah. So they'll have one-on-one sessions. So we case manage the guys, make sure all their needs are met medically, mentally, obviously physically as well. And so I just thought it's important to mention that we have those things covered as well with the guys. Yeah.
So does Victory House run any family support groups or anything like that within Vibe?
Yeah. So what we find is a lot of the families do come along to, I guess initially they'll come to our Sunday service to be with their, with their loved ones, and they enjoy our service because we keep it short, sharp, sweet, relevant, and on purpose, so that people actually enjoy the service, and so they keep coming. But then they start to build friendships, and they start coming along to Thursday nights. We have a big meal, so they come and have a meal with us.
Oh, wow.
And
go down for a feed.
and just come on the journey with our guys. So if they want to get connected and have support, we've got that available.
That's awesome.
As well. Yeah.
That is so important because it is recovery is not just about the addict, but it is about the family and people around them as well, because there's a lot of damage done along the way, and it is about bringing unity and love back into that family.
Yeah. So our counsellor and psychologists are available for families as well.
Wow, that's awesome.
Because they too, are going through, I guess, a process of recovery as well from the hurt that comes with addiction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I just love the work that you guys are doing, and I just feel so blessed that we can, work alongside you guys and create pathways for people to come in and get help. I'm really excited about the girls' rehab, the women's rehab too. So you have a lot of women out there. There's a few men rehab around, but there's a gap there, and I'm really excited if we can be of any help. That we'd really love to.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions? No more questions, guys. If you have questions, please post them up. We will be able to answer them even after the show. So just so you have our number, it is 0756656063. That is our national head office number. We do have offices in Victoria, Adelaide, Sydney, and Cairns, as well as the Gold Coast. And if you'd like some further information on Victory House, you can either contact us or
you can contact our inquiry line.
Yep.
I'll give you that now. Sorry.
That's okay. I sprung it on you. And it's okay not to have everything in your brain all the time, isn't it?
So our inquiry line is 0487 255 587. So
0487
255 587.
Awesome.
And our guys will run people through that. Just
Fantastic.
the other thing that would be good to say as well is that we do have these food outlets.
Yes.
If there are people out there struggling, with food and that kind of thing, we have free bread, free veggies and fruit, and all the other items in the outlets are very low cost as well. So
That's awesome.
people can go away with a whole basket or box of shopping for $5-10.
Yes.
And
that's
so we've got a location in Palm Beach,
Yep.
Shop 10, 8th Avenue in Palm Beach,
Okay.
and then also 3 Beryl Street in Tweed Heads as well. So 2 outlets, and we're there. And what you'll notice when you come to those outlets is the guys that are serving and are looking after the outlets are the guys in our rehabilitation program.
That's
They
awesome.
absolutely love it.
That's fantastic. Because they can, give back and reconnect.
Yep.
So if I'll get the guys to put the address on a post on our Facebook underneath this video, so you can share it with people. I know that Heritage of Faith Christian Church also do food parcels for people that are in need. So that's Heritage of Faith. There's a lot of help out there, guys. Please don't do this alone. There are people that are willing to help, that have access to church groups and community and some services and food and housing. We are at AARC are partnering up with St. Vincent's de Paul, and there is Cornerstone here in Southport that help with a lot of things. And you know, if you're in need, if you're homeless, if you're in crisis, if you're needing food or just a bit of love, you know, we have counsellors on board that give back to community, and we're here to help. So you can contact us on 075-665-6063. That's our national head office number, and we'll connect you with your state, and we can connect you through to Victory House if you're contemplating change and you want to connect there. So we'll put some details underneath. Don't forget, families, if you are looking for some family support through lived experience families that now work with AARC, you can contact that number is 0481 844 555. I'm sorry if you've tried to reach that number last week. We've had technical problems with that telephone, but it is now up and running again. So if you'd like some family support, that is the number to call, 0481 844 555. And if you're in Tweed area, or if you'd like to connect to another service, please, we have a list of resources that we can connect you to. So our heart is to help you, yeah? So please connect with us. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to add before we close?
No, I think we've covered it all.
Thank you, David, for sharing. It is from a true place of love, and I really feel it sitting here with David tonight that it's from a true place of love that they share and do what they do, and they're here to help you. Yeah, so if you're contemplating change, don't forget to give us a call. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And we usually ask one question before the end of the show.
Yep.
Okay. If you had one word to describe ice,
yeah,
right down the barrel, if you could just say what that one word would be.
It would be just ice, and the word that comes to me right now is destruction.
Yeah. That's the name of my album, funny enough, Highway Destruction, and that's my song through my journey through addiction, and it is destruction. It destroys everything, doesn't it?
The other word that's not far behind it is the word evil.
Yeah.
And I don't mean the people, I mean what it does to people's lives.
Yeah.
Essentially, we're all born with gifts and potential, you know, and if we look for that in people and we speak that into people, that's what they become.
That's right.
So I think that's the road to recovery, seeing the best in people and giving them the tools to get up and get back on with their actual God-given destiny.
Awesome.
Yeah.
David, thank you so much for being on the show tonight. I'm really grateful, and I know one of you guys has been on our show before, so if they want to share, please bring them. We look forward to speaking to you next week. We'll have some other surprises, and don't forget to place your orders, your Neo mug and your hats, and you can wear the cool one again if you want, David, only because he's young and I'm old. There we go. In the house like this. Good night, guys. Have a good night. God bless you.
Peace.
Not even once. You good? Press the camera stop. Right, let me check this out.
Okay.